Carolina-based nonprofit engaged in the production and distribution of independent digital black media. Carolina-based Find out more by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com or blacktalkmediaproject.org and look for the menu tab, Crowdfunding Black Media. Black Talk Media Project, helping to provide you with new black media for the new millennium. And opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Into the Mind, Body, and Spirit Show. It is Wednesday, May the 24th, 2017, and we want to welcome you into another explosive, enlightening, and enriching show here at MBS. So let me welcome in Namaste to FeatherLite. How are you?
Namaste. I'm delightful. How are you?
No, I'm wonderful. I am well. Thank you, sir.
Namaste, Daddy.
Namaste. Good to hear you. We missed you last week. Good to hear your voice and see that you are feeling well. You sound wonderful.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be missed. Thank you so much.
And since we're talking about, yes, you're back, and we're glad that you are back. We are happy to have you back. And since tonight we're talking about, we have a subject pertaining to new millennials and the civil rights movement. We have our guest on, Astro Black, who's going to speak to us from a millennial's perspective on this civil rights movement, the new millennial civil rights movement. What's up, Astro? Welcome in to you. Oh, I think he's getting ready to try to do like Mother Dunning with all that delayed response and carrying on like he over there baking a cake or something. I don't know what he over there doing. I mean, all this delayed response like he over in, I don't know, Tokyo or something. See, tonight's topic is the new millennials. See, there goes the answer right there. New millennials are not ready. You're not ready. Not ready. You're not ready. The question for tonight is...
It's really true.
Exactly. I see.
They feel entitled to make you wait.
Oh, my God. Okay, I'm telling you. Tonight we're talking about the new millennials, civil and human rights movement. And so we want to have a discussion around some of the differences of some of the methods historically used versus the new millennials movement. Because some of these new millennials, of course, we've seen some marches around some of the brutal things that have been happening with our people recently. But some millennials are also taking different approaches, and not just saying or proclaiming we shouldn't march anymore, but just taking different actions, like more people are becoming interested in running for office. So that may be a strategy for some. There are different groups that have like crowdfunding PACs now that will actually support like an independent candidate or help you get on the ballot. So new millennials are taking a different step, and we want to hear some of what they're doing and what they have to share and their perspectives and their ideas. And then for our African Spirit honoree, tonight we'll be talking about the Ahosi or Minyo, the Homie Amazons, a group of warrior women. And I'm so looking forward to FeatherLite's MBS segment on intuition. Ooh, intuition. Yes, yes. So you'll share some
insights on intuition.
Insights on intuition. Yes. Because you know what? So many of us don't tap into that intuitive side. We don't listen to that little voice or that God voice or what some people call your common sense or God's sense, your gut feeling, your intuition. But it's quite helpful to listen, tune into it. And so you're going to share with us like how to tune in and how to listen and how to feel and just improve our intuitive what elements or aspects or
they all have.
Okay. Cool. Can't wait to hear. All right. You have a quote for us?
Yes. Here's one. Okay. There is no better test of a man's integrity than his behavior when he is wrong.
His behavior when he is wrong.
Yes, let's keep that. There is no better test of a man's integrity, or a woman, than their behavior when they are wrong. How do they respond to being wrong? It tells a lot about
how.
Think about it. Do they not only become defensive, but do they turn it around and put you on the offense? I've been in several situations like that. They may be afraid to admit that they have made a mistake or that they are wrong. That says a lot about a person's character. They may be a liar. A lot of times if a person doesn't want to admit that they have made a mistake or that they are in the wrong, they may find lying easy. Like, I don't find lying easy. I really don't. Like,
it's a struggle. You have some difficulties with that. It's a struggle, or you have some difficulties with commonly lying, fabricating, being deceptive. And you're definitely not a deceptive person, cunning or anything like that.
No. It takes too much of my energy because I got to remember what I said. Like, did I say that I got home at 10? Or did I say I got home at 11:30? It's best to just and then I won't have to try to remember. It's like, I said 10:30. I know what I said. I said 10:30. But anyway, I thought that was you can use that when you're in a relationship or just starting a relationship, and you notice that this person has a difficult time in not admitting that they're wrong, but just check their behavior. Check their behavior when they're wrong.
They're wrong. Their response. Some people have difficulty with that. Okay, you have another quote. All right.
Let's see. Your heart will never lie to you. It's your brain's job.
your brain's job to lie to you?
Yes, yes. If you think about it, okay, so your heart knows. I had one quote that says, your heart knows what your mind is already, your brain is still trying to figure out. Your brain is constantly trying to figure things out, trying to find the truth. It can't be still. It's always trying to find the truth. And sometimes your brain will make up things, paranoid things that are not really true, things that are put right in front of you, like on the TV, and then you start thinking that, like, it's okay. That's okay. I'm seeing that a lot. Yeah, I think that's okay.
So your heart knows, but your brain could lie to you.
Your heart knows what your brain is still trying to figure out. Your heart will never lie to you. That's your brain.
Heart will never lie. Okay. Well, then don't try to laugh at me because I can remember exactly what you said. All you said in that whole.
I'm not laughing.
I just feel like I'm supposed to remember that word for word. Anyway, all right. Well, that's cool. Thank you for sharing those quotes, FeatherLite. I will remember what my heart knows and what my brain is trying to fabricate.
Right.
How my brain is misleading me and possibly deceiving me. Let me see if Astro was able to join us and I guess come off of me. Astro, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You were quite delayed previously, so we hope that you have since corrected any of those difficulties that you may be experiencing, my brother. Namaste.
Okay, yeah, namaste. Hotel.
Namaste.
But the new millennials have a revolutionary perspective, in all things. So we're gonna see things roll out, tactics, strategies, and behaviors that can't be counteracted because they haven't been seen before, at least for probably the last 200 or 500 years or so in recorded history or her story. So it's a brand new day and a whole new game plan, brothers and sisters. You know it and I know it. Let's get to it. Go time.
All right. So we look forward to hearing more dialogue around the new millennial human and civil rights movement. But before we get into our topic for tonight, let's see. You can call in and share your comments, your thoughts on our topic or any of the subtopics that we have tonight, because we are definitely going to look into this Richard Collins III story that happened up at the University of Maryland this past weekend, Saturday. This was caught all on film and everything. But let me give out the phone number. The thoughts here at the Mind, Body, and Radio Show at 866 9025. You can press star and unmute yourself, and we'll get you right in and hear your comments. You can also tune in on YouTube, and of course, you can always log on to Black Talk Radio Network, and you can hear not only the Mind, Body, and Spirit Show live right now. You can always hear this show and other shows on demand, previous shows rather on demand, as well as all of the other awesome, enlightening shows on the Black Talk Radio Network, where you can also donate. Donate. Keep Black Talk Radio alive. So donate. So this whole Richard Collins, this young man's name is Richard Collins III. And I came across this article by David Zarin entitled "A Lynching on the University of Maryland Campus." And that's exactly what happened with this case. I have been attempting to stay away from so many morbid and depressing stories like this, but I always have to make sure that I make the connection for people, because a lot of times we look at these as isolated incidents versus us realizing that, once again, as Ida B. Wells chronicled, that these attacks are happening in places like Maryland, in New York, down in Florida, over in San Francisco, San Diego, down in Mississippi, in New Jersey, all across this country, Texas, North Carolina, all across this country. People are under attack, which is why...
Nowhere is exempt.
No. Which is why I put forth the Black Male Challenge last week. Please surrender one day of watching sports and organize, or either after you finish watching the game, then can you please get with your brothers and organize and come together as a think tank or in think tanks and plan for our protection and survival and some strategies. Because this man, Richard Collins, was visiting the University of Maryland. He was about to graduate from Bowie State University on this Tuesday, just this past Tuesday. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army, airborne certified. Remember, Trayvon Martin was taking some air mechanics classes or something like that. He had an interest in aeronautical engineering or something like that. But anyway, this young Richard Collins, was walking down the street with two friends around 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, May 20th, and he was they were waiting on an Uber. And this white terrorist, Sean Urbanski, who was 22, I believe Richard Collins is 23, and this Sean Urbanski is 22, told Richard to step to the side. Richard stood his ground and said no, and that's when Urbanski stabbed him, and this was all caught on film. But then this Urbanski, he's so cold-blooded, he stabbed him, and then went and sat at the bus stop like, yeah, you can come and get me now. So I did what I was supposed to do, and just sat there. So he was arrested, and he has been charged with murder in the group called Alt-Right Nation, like the Alt-Right, or whatever they want to call themselves. I call them terrorists. So he has been reported to be a homegrown terrorist who grew out of the soil of the University of Maryland College, in which there's been an extreme escalation in attacks on black students. But even before, there were racist news flyers with racist threats, all kinds of threats against black students and Latino students on this campus. So Collins, like I mentioned, his killing was caught on the video, and it is being investigated as a hate crime. And, of course, authorities have appealed for patience from both college communities, the students and the community, as they investigate his background. Well, you know what his background is. He killed a man. So, I mean, when you do find out his background, okay. So, anyway, so this past Tuesday, I wonder if they'll say, well, you know, he had drugs on him, and he had drugs in his system, and he had this and this. Oh, let me just go back. Actually, he, just like this other man in San Diego, I believe, that shot up the people at the wedding party. So the authorities are saying, well, you know, he had an alcoholic problem. I can't even get my words together. These people get me so upset. A problem with alcohol. He was suffering from alcoholism, and so I guess we're supposed to have sympathy for him since he was an alcoholic. So this is a problem, and maybe this is why he killed him. No, he killed him because he was a terrorist, and he wanted the black boy to step off the curb like this, walking around here in the 30s or 40s or something, 1800s or something. So anyway, let's see. So during the commencement services, during the commencement ceremony, he would have walked across the stage on Tuesday, but his gown was placed draped over a chair in the front row, and his family accepted his business administration degree. It is absolutely horrible that their son was about to graduate and go off and serve his country and all of this, and because he was walking down the street and a terrorist approached him and decided to kill him. I heard he was walking with this a young Asian lady and a white girl, and I was wondering, I'm like, well, if he was with some friends, how come his friends didn't attack the guy? But he, from what I heard, was with two females. So I guess he couldn't get any assistance from his two friends that he was standing with. I mean, I don't even know if they were exactly like his friends, and he was out with them, or were they all just trying to get an Uber together. I'm not sure if that is still being investigated. Have either one of you heard any more details on this story, or would like to share some thoughts and comments? Astro, FeatherLite, Astro.
You know, when I heard, go ahead, Astro.
Yes, So it's important that you mention those details about how the University of Maryland campus has been rife with racist hate crimes and incidents of racial malice. Again, so earlier this month, you saw there was a noose found at a fraternity house, according to the NPR News, which prompted protests. And in this spring, again, posters from white nationalist themes were discovered on several buildings across the campus. And in fact, the same NPR report detailed the comments of one Darius Craig, who's a student at University of Maryland, who said, quote, "Racism is real. It's real on this campus. And administration, like President Lowe, need to begin to really take it seriously because it has got to stop." And so all of us, brothers and sisters out there who've had the privilege of going to institutions of higher education, if we can call it that, where in America, of course, this is still a very segregated society in which we are given the burden of having to deal with and conform with white supremacy, but that same standard is not extended to them as far as these European rejects. They have what they call white privilege. They're pink-skinned, but they have white privilege. Figure that out. They don't know anything about us if they don't see on television. So when you come to these newly integrated academic institutions, it's always these crackers who are instigating violence against our brothers and sisters. And then so across the campus, even with my campus out in California back in the early 2000s, these hate crimes are ordinarily swept under the rug as swiftly as possible by the administration because they don't want it to affect their enrollment or their endowment. So these academic institutions are very toxic to our brothers and sisters, particularly to our brothers. So that's why you don't find so many of us on a lot of these campuses, and our brothers can comment on that further. This is where particularly these European rejects are groomed for positions of leadership. They're top of that top 10%, and the administration sets that precedent of allowing and condoning these acts of terrorism against our brothers and sisters here in the United States, but also globally. And so the world is watching. We need to take direct action in order to stop it now and forever.
FeatherLite, do you have any comments? And I have some comments on what you shared as well, Esther. I just want to see if FeatherLite has some comments, and then we do have a caller.
I'm gonna pass on this one. I may say something later. I'm gonna pass. Take your call.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead on and go to the call then. Let's see, caller from 4963.
Yes, hello?
Comment? Yes. Welcome into the
Yes, my name. Yes, I want to say how you ladies doing tonight. Shout out to Astro. How you guys doing?
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yes. This is Christopher Austin from Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Right on, brother. Speak your truth.
Cleveland? I was in Cleveland for about 3 months last year, from like September, from like October, about September to November, something like that. Beautiful city.
Hey, what's that?
I was in Cleveland last year.
Oh, okay. East side, west side?
Downtown.
Okay, yeah. Cleveland's an awesome city when you're visiting. When you have to live here, you start to notice that this city is built on white supremacy.
Which city in America is not built on that, though? Really? Right. So, but yeah, let's hear from you, Cleveland. Tell us about Cleveland.
Okay. The whole nation's built on white supremacy, but Cleveland's one of those cities where white supremacy is supreme. Like if you go to Detroit, Birmingham, or cities with larger black populations, there's more of a group need for unity. You know, there's more code involved. In Cleveland, we have the illusion of inclusion in Cleveland, to where all our neighbors are white. We work next to white people, so we have this feeling that, hey, we're not down south. We're in Cleveland. It's the opposite. It's so backwards up here.
Well, I have a friend in Michigan, near Detroit, right outside of Detroit, I think Dearborn. And he's always saying, I don't see how you can live down there in Texas and in the South, and they just so racist and so hard on black people there. And I'm like, but you're in Dearborn, right? Michigan, we have several communities, black communities, that have been completely decimated. In addition to, at this time, when he was making these comments, that's when oh my God, what's his name? He was beaten in Inkster, because I have family in Inkster. He was beaten in Inkster, I think in between Inkster and Dearborn or something like that. But cops tried to plant cocaine on him, beat the poor man. All of this was on video camera as well. So when people are disillusioned and actually think that things, excuse me, people, allergies here in Houston. When people are living in an illusion and believing that these things only happen in Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, and Texas, we just had two stories right here, Maryland, New York, where black men have been stabbed just while walking on the show. We can't say it's completely off right.
If the white people are getting on code, they've been on code, but now they're intensifying the code because they feel as if they can. They're actually, saying, hey, we're going to see what we can do in the black neighborhood. And depending on what happens, we'll go from there. Because if you notice on the case you were just speaking of, where he stabbed the college student, he didn't have any thought towards getting away.
Oh.
He intended to be caught because it's all instructions. It's instructions for the next villain rule, for the next, Unabomber. It's instructions.
So here's my thing. This is my deal, because we know what's going on. When these people can beat young black women on the street, old black women on the street like their grandmother in California, drag a young girl in her bikini on the ground like in McKinney, Texas, slam another little child down and break her clavicle over there near Dallas, a suburb right outside of Dallas. When they can lynch a young boy in North Carolina, and we were just talking about last week the other young lady that was lynched in North Carolina. all of these racially motivated attacks, which we clearly know they're racially motivated attacks, what are we going to do in terms of that? There's several things, of course, that we can do. And here at the Mind, Body, and Spirit Show, we like to focus on the solutions and moving forward. What can we do in terms of turning this all around? And that's why we want to hear from the new millennials, because the new millennials have a different approach. Some different approaches.
Definitely.
Yes.
Is Brother Chris still here on the phone?
Yes, it's me right here.
Yes, all right. Brothers and sisters, if I may interject, Brother Chris from Cleveland is a grassroots organizer on the front lines and a warrior in breed and class. And Brother Chris, can you please enlighten or just give your retrospective on the beauty shop incident and the organizing that happened behind it?
Yes, Fantasy Nails. We have Fantasy Nail Salon. It's a Vietnamese brand nail salon. And on a Tuesday, a black sister from Nigeria, she had a dispute with the owner, and he whooped on her. Him and two other men and a woman whooped on her. This was on the west side of the town. The west side of the town is the more integrated side of town. So to put it. So what happened was nothing happened. There was nobody at the store, nobody organized, and I'm at work. I put the call out on Facebook. I said, hey guys, I'm going up there the next day. I went up there right after work, and the guy was like, he was still in there just chilling and stuff, and I just G-checked him. I went in there and I said, hey, which one of you guys put your hands on the female? The sister that was in here, there's a man in here now. And they proceeded to not do anything. Like the videos on my Facebook, you can get it from Astro. But I recorded the whole thing. I went in there and I'm in his face. I'm calling him out. I'm saying, come over here and do it. And the whole video is sad because there's a thing for the black women waiting to get the nails done. A day after, another black woman was assaulted. So I'm kind of putting them on blast. I'm recording them, and the one black sister's like, hey, you do the G, and they just, the cooling was through the roof. Like all of these black women and Hispanic women were getting between me and him. They were protecting him, and it's sad because he's saying, do you believe in Jesus? And this Vietnamese guy has a statue of Buddha sitting on the counter. He doesn't even believe. But they're putting their God and their bodies between me and him because they rather themselves get hurt than to me hurt this man that hurts women that look like them. And the video went viral. World Star picked it up with the case because that kind of pressed the issue about it because it was just like a thing that happened and nobody spoke on. So that Saturday, I teamed up with New Era Cleveland. They were bashing New Era Detroit. I'm also a member as well. As of now, I'm a member. We had a demonstration shutdown, and we blocked traffic going in. We persuaded a lot of women not to go in, handed out information for black-owned nail salons. So that was beautiful, but the climate of Cleveland doesn't really allow you. Yeah, go ahead.
Brother, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So you said you had a demonstration, so the demonstration took place in front of the nail salon?
Yes, the demonstration took place in front of the nail salon. The way had to be towards the street, but we were in front of the property.
So you said that you spoke with sisters as they were entering or trying to enter the business. What was the response? Were sisters aware of the incident and decided not to patronize the business, or were they reluctant, or did they just proceed into the business and just say, I don't care what happened here, let me get my nails done?
Well, the sisters that were there, they knew about the incident. The incident is viral.
Can you talk into the phone a little better, brother? We can barely hear you. We're having some difficulty hearing. Yeah.
I'm sorry
about that. It's very important
but
what you're saying, so I really want to hear you.
Okay, the incident in where he assaulted the young sister was recorded and live streamed to Facebook by another sister that happened to be in the shop. So her video had like 250,000 views in the very same day it happened. So the whole city of Cleveland, that's the whole city. So everybody in Cleveland basically has seen it. It was all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and whatnot. So people had seen it, and people consciously made decisions to go in. I'm sure there might have been a couple that didn't know ahead of time, but plenty of them seen it. It was more of an attitude such as, I'm not worried about her, I need to get my nails done and go blah, blah, blah. It was a whole lot of me instead of we. You know, there wasn't any group consciousness there.
Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate, but I know that is a problem. Let me ask all of you this. Do you think that it's possible to turn that attitude around? Because this is what was successful during the Montgomery boycott movement. People began to not only boycott the Montgomery bus system, but also like Wonder Bread was boycotted in Memphis, Tennessee. There were many businesses that black people just came together and said, nope, not supporting you. So, I mean, if what do you think? Do you think that we will be able to turn that attitude around? And then I have another question also.
Yes, I think you have the same amount of people trying to turn it around now as you did then, but the difference is then we had unity. As towards now, we have a compromised base. We don't have a leader per se. We don't have a group per se. We don't have anything exclusive because the whole civil rights movement when Montgomery happened. My family is from Birmingham. I'm from Birmingham, and my father's 68. He was active in the civil rights movement, and he lived around black people, all black people, and you worked with black people. So once integration happened, every branch of revolution we had in the 60s and 70s got compromised. Like you started having the church becoming mega churches. So they're getting paid through these white supremacist corporations behind the scenes. And now I can't go to a church to get any assistance. The church is saying, no, we pray for cops here, leave it alone. Whereas 50, 60 years ago, it was a whole different thing. The black church was your safe house. So everything's compromised. You have our men being compromised with white spouses, women having white spouses. So we're compromised because every time we get the ball rolling, it stops and says, hey, but my coworker's white, my boyfriend's white, my girlfriend's white, blah, blah. We're just too compromised now. So we have to fight a different type of battle. We have to fight a battle for segregation. We have to turn back a lot that we got accomplished in Montgomery, which is sad because we have to return to a place where it's just us as a people. And a lot of people that are prominent in the civil rights movement currently, the guys with the juice, they don't want to hear that because it takes away all these different branches of finance and support they have coming in. You know, it costs them too much to say, yeah, let's cut everybody out but ourselves, when in all actuality, everybody's already done it. The Asians have done it. The Arabs have done it. The Jews have done it. We're the only race that hasn't said, hey, we want to be by ourselves. We fought for the opposite. We fought to say, hey, we want to be with you guys. So we no longer have that powerful core base. It's too compromised. It's just not as strong as it was.
Now, here's another solution to problems like this, so we can stop going in these nail shops and beauty supply stores, being accused of stealing $3 eyelashes and patronizing businesses when they want to abuse us in so many ways. I would say if we could come together, and this is just for a future plan, if we could come together and somehow fund like a nail school for young girls so that we can have some of our young black girls who are graduating from high school, they don't want to go to college, instead of just focusing on the hair, also the nails. Because if there were more nail shops, if there was a plethora of nail shops owned by young black females trying to start their business, at this point in time, I guarantee you that we will support that business. We just need the businesses there in such a prominent manner as some of these Asian nail shops are, because they're everywhere, like Walgreens. And so we, as black women, and I'm a victim of it, I go to the Asian nail shops because it's so difficult to find a black-owned nail shop. There are just not as many around. But if we can know about those
That's what
nails,
I've been hearing.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult. And we're like, man, look, I want to look good. I want to have, I would like somebody to rub my feet. you know, when I go out, you guys, you want to see our nails looking pretty, our toes. And so, but where can we go? I can pass like 5 nail shops just driving up the street, less than a mile.
Yes,
but none of those are owned by a sister. Yeah, none of them are owned by a sister. So if that could be something that we could focus on in terms of just eliminating that problem. Because that's going to happen. They're going to keep jacking us up until sisters in there wake up. See, now, when we first started going to the nail shops, when I was younger, 20 years ago, and when the Asians would try to act up with us, we all stood up for each other in there. We weren't like this generation right here. We stood up. We told them, you better speak English and don't be talking about me while you're doing my nails.
Right.
Or else we're not coming back up in here. Did we not, FeatherLite? We were we'll go somewhere else. Do it over there.
You train people how to treat you.
Yeah. You
train people how to treat
this nail over.
There is more than that one shop in that area. Those ladies could have gone to another shop 2 blocks away.
The saddest part is about 1,000 feet north of that location is a black-owned salon. Literally 1,000 feet. You go across the intersection is right there. And the whole point of our demonstration basically was to spread information, because I'm all about black business. I actually been supporting black. I've always been a supporter of black business, but I've always been more of an activist towards black business. I stopped protesting and marching. I said, let me find black businesses. Me and my queen, we would frequent different black businesses and get cards and try to spread information. So we went for the demonstration shutdown. It wasn't for competition. It was basically to see the sisters going in, because they know what happened. And they said, well, where can I go? And a couple sisters in the group said, here you go. We had flyers. We had about 500 flyers printed up with different nail salons and boutiques. And we passed them outside. Like, black business is the backbone of the civil rights movement. Even during Selma, Birmingham, everything that happened in the South, there was black-owned businesses, but it was out of a necessity. It was out of the necessity that we couldn't go to a black auto shop. We couldn't sit in a we couldn't go to a white auto shop. We couldn't sit in a white restaurant, so we had to create it for ourselves. It might not have been as nice in some instances, but it was ours. That money came back into the neighborhood. To whereas now, we sacrificed all of that for inclusion. So we don't have the funds to go and fight these kind of instances. We don't have the funds to say, why are you guys going there? Let's go to this nail salon that's on the corner of Blase, and it's built really nice, it's beautiful, because we don't own the property. They won't sell it to us. We don't even own the property.
And can you talk into the phone, please? You're fading out again.
I'm sorry about that, but we no longer have the financial backbone of black businesses to support any viable so-called revolution. That's why we have to become solutionaries. We have to think ahead. We have to think generational. So we do need a nail tech school for our young sisters to go to, or our young brothers to go to if they want to. We need a nail tech school so they can go there and learn the tricks and trades of how to get the business off the ground, learn the techniques, filling the nails, drilling them, painting them, and whatnot. We need to be teaching that to our own people so they can go forth with the ambition and get it started. But first, we need a strong financial backbone. There's enough money in our community to fund these trade centers. There's more than enough money in our neighborhoods to fund these, but we give it away through these compromised sources. So when people do care, they're going to the church, giving 10%, and that 10% doesn't come back. They're going to these white-owned businesses.
You're always going to have that population that are constantly going to go to church, and that's just what they're going to do. Of course. But I think it's good for us to work with those that are interested in creating some change and coming up with some revolutionary strategies in terms of changing the whole paradigm. So,
just to backtrack on a comment that was made earlier. Look, sisters, if you want a real man, you want a real king, you want a real brother, we know what a virtuous woman looks like. Check the materialism. We don't care what you have on your nails, and we don't care what you have on your feet. If you're a virtuous dime, if you're a queen, you could be bald-headed in T-shirt and jeans, and we'll still know.
All of that sounds, Astro, that sounds all great in theory, Do we know that men like for women to look decent, just like we want men to look decent? I'm not going nowhere with you and you hadn't had a haircut in 15 years and your nails dirty.
Look, those are your look. Men and women operate on a completely different set of standards. So
I think men are very superficial when it comes to women, in a lot of respects. Maybe not you. Maybe you're different. There are a lot of brothers that are true and real. But I mean, if we want to get on that subject, I mean, we can talk about the psychological trauma and drama that we as black women have had to experience with our hair. Because let me tell you, brother, when I went natural, it wasn't the black men that were loving my little short fro. They wanted to have the long weave.
And then get a new man. Get a new man.
I did. But I'm just speaking about how that is an issue. And it's okay for us to want to look good. We want to look nice, Ryan. I think that it's okay for us to want to have our nails manicured. I think that people should have their nails manicured and clean.
Beauty and materialism are not the same thing. Beauty and materialism are not the same things.
Well, I'm not talking about materialism. I'm speaking more in the terms of keeping your hygiene and keeping yourself looking nice based on what you like, based on what the person likes. Dressing or cleaning yourself up or having your nails manicured for yourself. For yourself.
All right. Then look. Then it is about yourself.
For your mate.
But yeah. All right. Then look. All right. It's about yourself. But realize, as the brother is talking, there's this overemphasis on materialism where you're going to patronize these businesses with people that hate you and brutalize you, and that doesn't reflect the virtue that is contained inside of you, in your spirit, in your mind, and your heart. So just if you're going, it's really a value choice. It's a personal choice. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs, you could try and fit in if you want to. You could try and fit in if you want to, but a virtuous woman is rare as a diamond, unless you
really, Astro. Let me interrupt you. This situation that we are experiencing right now, with the women wanting to go and get their nails done in a shop, where they have seen another woman brutalized for nothing, has really nothing to do with virtuality. It has all to do with we are being conditioned not to care for one another. We are being conditioned not to have empathy for one another. We are being conditioned to it's all about me. And really, I'm not a materialistic woman. But I do like to look good. I like to look good when I go to Walgreens. I will put on some lipstick. But I am not. I don't consider myself as a materialistic woman. That's just me. I just like to look good. That is African. African women. It's in we.
We created makeup.
It is in we.
We created makeup and hairstyles. Exactly. So
yes, we created we. Yes, we are a creative people.
Yes,
we are a creative people.
I will oils and makeup in the tomb.
Class, I will decide what will I wear tomorrow. What will I just put on my body? That's just being a woman, an African woman. And look, we don't
in the 21st century we have a brand new set of priorities. Is what I'm trying to emphasize to you. So, like, as Brother Chris is saying,
you mean if you are another priority other than looking good?
No. As far as revolutionary priorities, the beautiful women who are on the front lines, whether you're in Cuba, whether you're Angola, whether you're in Ethiopia, whether you're in Colombia, whether you're in Mexico, as men. We're not worried about if you got the latest lead press on nails, or if some.
I'm not worried about what the men are thinking.
This conference has reached its maximum duration and will end in 1 minute.
We really are.
I think we're kind of getting off subject on the whole focus of what the story is about. The story is about how these women, well, what happened to this young lady, number one, and how no one in the salon,
I'm sorry to
the brother
interrupt.
from Cleveland was sharing with us, none of the sisters attempted to assist this sister. So I think one solution to that is, again, learning how to love, first of all, yourself. If you love yourself, then you can love somebody else. And we have to look at others like this could be my brother, my sister, my cousin, and I need to step up and I need to help them. I need to assist them in whatever way that I can. And so what I'd like to hear from the brother is has the business closed down? Because it should have closed by now. Some people not supporting it, but I'm... The business is still operating, you said? Yes.
Yes. The business is very much still alive. That's that whole illusion of inclusion. People have this me instead of a we. Like my mother used to go to that salon, and she said, "Well, if I was there, I would have jumped in and threw hands on the man because she's older. She's from that we generation where she was raised in an area where everybody knew everybody, and we took care of our own, as opposed to this me generation. This is 2 generations removed from the crack epidemic, where there's no fathers in the house, there's no jobs in the street. So these women are growing up in tougher homes, raised by women that had to do it all. So it just infuses that whole me culture instead of the we culture. So we use self-defense such as laughing about it, making jokes. Like you'll see a video of a black woman being assaulted, and if the caption is correct, people will laugh at it. It's to the point now where a black woman could be assaulted, and with the proper caption, it could be turned into comedy. And that was my main point of going in there, was to the same way the race soldier at the college.
Let me just stop you right there, brother. Yeah. We need to take a break. We need to take a break, and we'll come right back. You tuned into the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. You can call in at 866-510-9025.
You are the first participant on the call. Please hold while we wait for the others to join.
Media page and donate. Keep Black Talk Radio alive. We'll be right back. You tune in to the Mind, Body, and Spirit show on Black Talk Radio Network.
Black Talk Radio, your choice for digital black radio. New black media for the new millennium.
The Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show, Mind, Body, and Spirit. We are here, and we are having a discussion. Well, we started out talking about the Richard Collins story in Maryland, where the young man was stabbed by the white supremacists at the University of Maryland campus. He had this Urbanski person, the terrorist. He has been charged. Well, he has been investigated for committing a hate crime. And we are also discussing tonight, where you can join in this conversation, the new millennials and the civil and human rights movement. What are the differences? What are your thoughts? Are there any differences? What should be considered in terms of this millennial movement. So, Astro Black, you being a millennial, let me welcome back Astro. Let me welcome back FeatherLite. Let me welcome back all of our listeners and callers. Let's see, we had a brother from Cleveland that was sharing a story with us in regards to the beauty shop incident also, whereas a young lady was assaulted and no one took the thought to assist this sister. Oh, FeatherLite, there you are. Hey, FeatherLite.
Yes.
FeatherLite, namaste. Okay, got you open. Yeah. So, just having a discussion around that. Let's see. Any more comments around new millennials? Astro, I would like to hear what you have to say about millennials, and also FeatherLite, if you have some comments.
Well, I want to make a comment about the difference. Now, I'm a baby boomer, so I'm like 2 generations from the millennials. So one thing that kind of stands out for me, and it's a little difficult for me, is that when women are assaulted, brutally assaulted as they are, and the girls are being assaulted as they are, dragged here and there across the room, 300-pound men dragging young girls across the room in a chair and flinging them across the concrete at the pool, things of this nature, grandmothers being slung around on the ground. During the baby boomer era, we had more of an outcry by the males, by the men. So I'm not seeing this. I'm not seeing a group of men making an outcry, saying, no, you will not treat our women like that. No, you will not treat our women, our children like that. And to quote Malcolm X, he said that you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and protect our women. And it's just disheartening to me that I'm not seeing more of an outcry. It's so much apathy and indifference. And like the young gentleman was saying, people are laughing. They're making jokes. They made jokes of what was her name? James. Think of her first name. They made jokes about her. They made jokes about the young woman who was killed in front of her little son. It's frightening, really. Games. Yes, Serene Gaines. Serene Gaines. They made jokes about that, saying that she had a bad mouth, and I heard, and some guys were saying things like, yeah, that's how some women talk, and they're gonna get enough of spouting off at the mouth, like she talked back to the policeman, and so there, you're dead, and keep your mouth shut, and that's justification. That's frightening. That is to me, and that's in this millennium era. So, do any millennials have anything to say about it?
Yeah. So look, sisters and brothers out there, let's not forget 2014 when Baltimore and Ferguson and Oakland and Los Angeles and New York, all these other places were hit with record-breaking numbers of black activism in the streets, direct action against a genocidal force of police, which we haven't seen since the post-slavery era, or even before then, because they all started out as slave patrols and slave catchers. These are millennials, okay? Let's be very kind and very respectful to each other, because there is a generational gap, but keeping in mind that the main organizers the front soldiers, the grassroots organizers, the leaders and the speakers, the thinkers, the writers of the quote-unquote civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s were not baby boomers, but they were born in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. For instance, Malcolm X, born in 25, Martin Luther King, born in 1929, Kathleen Cleaver, the first woman of the Black Panther Party, born in 1945.
I wasn't speaking of them. I was speaking of myself.
Okay, So let's be clear and be respectful of the generational differences, because crack, as Brother Chris has mentioned, the crack epidemic and heroin and all the integration and the fallout integration has hit our community like a time bomb. Okay, so there's a major generational gap. However, the millennials, as in the young 14 and 15-year-olds who were throwing rocks at the police in that exchange in Baltimore at the very beginning of the civil unrest in 2014, have no respect for illegitimate authority, and I'm one of them. Okay, this entire government, this presidency, even this Constitution that allows for slavery to be a recognized and acceptable social practice is completely illegitimate. Okay, so we're coming into a new millennium practice where lynching has become a common day practice. And I'm from Los Angeles. In '92, when Rodney King was almost lynched, and because of the technology was short and it was in short supply, when that happened and the fallout of the case, Los Angeles went up like a tinderbox. Okay, again, that's the same generation we're talking about. Those are our people. So let's recognize and respect.
Let me ask you this.
Hold on. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Also, with the technological advances, that we're witnessing the decline of the nation state. So language, religion, nationality, culture, these are all things that are falling to the wayside. So those of us who are specifically travelers, bilingual, multi-ethnic, multicultural people are able to reach across the planet and link up, organize, and strategize with our brothers and sisters who are globally recognized and present across the diaspora. Okay? So the organizing tools and organizing strategies are far advanced, and we can make great leaps, especially in connecting back to that generation of the 20s and 30s and 40s who made all of this possible. Okay?
Okay, FeatherLite, you have a question?
Yes. First, I meant no disrespect. I'm simply stating facts. The baby boomers from the generation that I'm from, we had our many faults, just as millennials do have theirs. So since we're still in the same, pardon my French, fucked up situation, nobody has come up with a perfect answer. What I was pointing the fact to was that there is a huge amount of indifference, and that may not just, it's not just millennials, it's with our people totally. There's a huge amount of apathy, and that is affecting us moving from beyond this situation that we're in, and it's with all of us. It's not just the millennials. It's an indifference. It's apathy. It's I don't care about that person, like we were just speaking of with the beauty shop incident. And I am wondering also, what I just mentioned is I would like to see more of an outcry from our males when the women are being attacked as brutally as they are. And that doesn't have to just come from millennials. I mean males, period.
Yes. Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good point, FeatherLite.
Yes, I want to speak on that because back in the days you did have more of an outcry. There was more of a male support in the movement, where when something happened to a woman, there was always a man there. But you have to remember, like I spoke on before the break, there was the crack epidemic. There was the for-profit prison system. There's a lot of factors that disabled the current day black males. But another issue it brings is a lot of these baby boomers men are still around. People like my father, people like people in his age range, they're still around, and you don't see men in their 60s going up there and outrage, because it's more of a cultural issue now. You see, black people, we don't have a culture in America. Our culture was created and molded for us. So we don't really have a set of codes that we go to. We have these subconscious codes that we use. We know when something's wrong and when something's right, but at the same time, we're at a point where we're individualists, especially the black man. The black man is grown apart from the black family.
Well, you know what? I want to go back to something that was mentioned about, and we do recognize and understand that the whole crack epidemic and the depository of drugs into our communities, how the insidiousness of that is now, we're now seeing how that was able to manifest. However, there are so many brothers, I'm sure, like yourself, like Astro, and many other brothers that I know, and many other sisters that I know that have never touched crack.
Definitely.
And some of them are teetotalers. So we can't blame everything on the whole on the crack epidemic and baby boomers and millennials that don't know, or baby boomers that are not doing anything. There are plenty of us that are able-bodied and that are ready to formulate think tanks or have think tanks and are ready to strategize. And I know that a lot of that is happening. I've been in groups like that. But I think it goes back to like what FeatherLite is saying. Where's that mass organization where we're seeing more of that, where we're able to connect? I mean, we have all kinds of ways that we can connect nowadays via social media and the Internet. So where is that mass movement of brothers coming together and saying, listen, you will not slam my daughter down on the grass and get on top of her and jack off like that. You will not slam my 12-year-old child down on the ground with your MMA-style fighting and break her clavicle. You will not stab my boy as he's walking down the street anymore, because on Saturdays, instead of us, excuse my language, fucking off all day, we're going to start taking our boys to the gun range. We're going to start buying up some guns. We're going to start, and if you don't want to buy guns, we're going to start going to learn some combat training.
Right. Oh, definitely.
Teach our women this.
And there's a lot of that going on in Cleveland. Cleveland is a really...
I know there's a lot of that going on in Dallas, but my point is, where is that mass movement? Especially when we see all. My email box should have been flooded with people saying, "Okay, we're doing this. The sisters come here, the brothers go there." You mean to tell me we just letting people get killed on the street and slammed in school? And it's business as usual. That's what I'm saying, and I think that's what FeatherLite's saying. This cannot just be business as usual. Like, oh well, he got killed.
Right.
Oh.
Right, and the pieces. What?
Brothers and sisters, we are the ones who we've been waiting for. Okay, whatever mass movement that you envision or conjure out of your mind, if you don't see yourself a part of it, if you're not part of it now, then we need to make it. Like, as far as the civil rights movement in the 60s and 70s, we need to discard the romantic revisionism of the fact that there was not linear, constant progress throughout the entire situation. You had divisions. You had different organizations with different with different platforms and different agendas. And the fact that Brother Chris is also was pointing out that integration was not the solution. And then so now revolutionary tactics that you have never seen before are the solution. Okay, so decolonizing your mind, decolonizing your spirit, decolonizing your imagination is first part of the solution. things that have not been seen before, so they cannot be counteracted. Okay, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. All we have to do is study history, look at the tactics that our brothers and sisters like the Ohosi have already laid out for us. Our ancestors have already laid out the groundwork. We can modify them for the 21st century, but the solutions are already here. The seeds are on the ground.
Right. Hello.
Let's nurture them, and so they can flower. Okay. So it's not where is it at. We are it. We are it. And when that mentality takes over, then the solution.
Let's take this call. Someone's trying to speak. So let's take this call from a caller in 0583.
Oh, hi. This is my name is Elaine Riddick, and I am a women's rights activist. I am the executive director for the Rebecca Project for Justice. I just changed my organization's name. Now is the Rebecca Project Incorporated. So what I want to say is I've been working on this for a very long time. I've been working against the eugenics in America. I have been exposing eugenics in America for a very long time. So all this North right, all this is white supremacist. We know that. But our problem is we know what our problem is. We know where our problems come from. So my solution for some of these problems is, we have children that's being sold into human sex slavery or human trafficking. We have children out there that, again, like the young man said earlier, the crack epidemic. So a lot of the parents, was on crack and they forgot that they had children. So we have young children out here wandering in the street. So my solution to that was I am opening up a transitional home where I would take these children into the transitional home, and I would teach them trades so they can go out there and they could become productive members of society. This is my plan for today, and I'm working on it very hard and very fast. You've said a whole lot of good things tonight. I understand about the guy that was being stabbed. We have to come up with how are we going to keep our kids from becoming a target. We know that we have been targeted since we've been here, since we've been sold into slavery. We know that we have been conditioned. And by the way, I am the one that was sterilized by the state of North Carolina. They said I was feeble-minded. But I had to prove them wrong. I had to pull myself out of where I was and put myself somewhere else. I had to become, objective and look at the whole picture. We know that these are the conditions that they set forth for us, so we cannot progress. So what are we going to do? In my school or in my transitional home, I'm going to have the kids working with the elderly people, working with the kids, teaching them home economics, which they took out of school. So our kids, like cooking and sewing and all the things, the nails and all of this. I'm going to have the elderly men, baby boomers, working with our youth, young men, teaching them how to paint, skills, everything skills. How to paint, plumbing, carpentry work, brick mason. This is what I want to do to help us to save our children.
Well, I think that's definitely needed, and that's beautiful and awesome. Thank you so much, Elaine Riddick.
That's what we need to do. With us. Each person do something to get this off. The domino effect.
Whatever your specialty is.
That's beautiful there. That's what we need. We need to get back to the we. We need to start planning generations ahead. See that sister that wants to bring these children in and teach them trades. That's what's needed, because it's not about us here now. Because the civil rights movement, they were thinking about the future, and somewhere between then and now, it got fractured. We know how. So we need to set up institutions and establishments to where we can, focus a generation or two down the road.
And another thing is that I have a request. We need to stop contributing to our own demise. when we go to them, not pointing fingers or anything, just trying to help us to understand, to open up our eyes. When we contribute, we kill each other. We go and kill our children, like they did a long time ago. These people are vultures. These people are, what do you want to call them, people that eat cannibals. So they have us doing exactly what they did. We can't follow them. We have to separate ourselves from them. Contributing to your own demise because they say it's okay to kill your baby. It's not okay. They only tell you part of it. This is what we did. We used to be like 35, 40% of the United States population, and now we only make up 11%.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. We're going to have to conclude this portion of this segment of the show tonight.
Thank you so much.
And moving to our African Spirit, but we'd love for you to call back in and to hear more about your plan, because I think that's awesome. That's what we need.
It is.
And if everybody could just share their expertise in this movement, then we can see ourselves advance and get things done. I totally agree with that. Thank you so much for calling. And any closing comments, FeatherLite, Astro, our brother from Cleveland?
Yes. I just think we really need to restructure our financial sector. That's paramount. Anything without finance is just talk. We live in an international world where we can get these movements off the ground. We have all the pieces in place. We just don't have that financial backing. The civil rights movement had the church. They had fathers at work backing everything. We don't have that now. So when we return to that, we got everything in motion. Like, I'm a member of New Era Cleveland. We're out here in the streets. We're mentoring kids. We're passing out food. It's happening. We just need that. We just need that support. We're rebuilding. I want to thank you, sisters, for allowing me to speak on you guys' show. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You call back anytime. We air every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And just to dovetail something that you mentioned in terms of the finances, I have to kind of speak on something that Dr. Claude Anderson mentions, because, he's always speaking about black economics. That's his platform. And he also mentions, but until we get rid of that colonized mind, until we stop thinking like a slave, we have to learn how to support a black business, because he says we can open up 100 black businesses on one street, but if we still have a colonized mind that I'm not going to support that black business because the water over there is colder, then that black business will be out of business in a matter of time. So we got to run that mind first before we get all those finances, because a lot of us will be bankrupt because niggas don't want to support your black business because they hate themselves. So what makes you think they're going to come and support you that looks just like them? So we have to work on the mind. And also I would say we can start with that, of course, in the home and as well as in starting our own institutions. FeatherLite, any comments?
We as black people have enough money within ourselves to become the 15th richest city in the world. As you said, we just need to put it all together, get our mindset together. We got the finance, but we got to put our minds together. Get rid of that colonized mind that I hate you and I hate you because you look like me attitude.
Right. Okay. And Astro, any closing comments? And I know you want to give a shout out.
Yes. Before I comment, are there any more calls in the queue?
Right. Do you have any closing comments before we go to African Spirit? Any closing comments?
Closing comments. So yeah, look, brothers and sisters, as you're saying, decolonizing the mind is the first start of revolution. It happens in your mind before it happens physically manifested in body and through action. As far as the tax is concerned, as Chris was alluding to, and as well as Ms. Lane Riddick, we have all the pieces in place. Especially, we have all the technological tools to advance things so much faster and so much more efficiently than before. But we have to recognize the revolution starts with you.
Yes.
Revolution starts with your family. It starts with your clique and your block. All right, and then also one aspect of the civil rights movement that is overlooked, I think, unjustifiably, is the international aspect of it. We have brothers and sisters who are organizing and fighting for liberation and quite frankly for survival in Venezuela as we speak, in Cuba, in Nigeria, Ghana, all over, India, Mexico, and we can dissolve these nation-state borders that have been put up by these insecure European dogs to really make this new millennium revolutionary movement into something that we've never seen before. Global, multilingual, multi-ethnic, and quite frankly, elevational beyond the imagination of the colonized mind.
Thank you.
We are who we've been waiting for.
We need to move on to our next session right now. Thank you so much, Astro.
I think he wants to give his last shout out. Yeah, go ahead and give your shout out because we're at 10:30. We have to take a quick break and come back with the African Spirit. Astro, you want to give a shout out to our upcoming march?
Yes. Okay, so the Million Women's March of 2017 is organized out of Philadelphia as the 20th anniversary of the Million Women March. And the Million Women March is an historic event that has evolved into a full-fledged, multi-level organ and movement, and uniquely designed for the holistic upliftment of the empowerment of women and girls of African descent, regardless of their nationality, clan, religion, political affiliation, education, economic, or social status, and the attainment of real freedom and justice, sustaining of self-determination, and in a better quality of life for our families and communities. So it's kicking off in October of this year. Part of the platforms and the strategies are to gather 1 million signatures and present a plebiscite to the United Nations to charge the United States government with genocide against African people. The march is happening in October 27th. In October in 2017. But also, in regards to black businesses, there's a faction of the Million Women's Movement called the BBB Code, which stands for...
That's a shout-out. That's a shout-out, Ryan. Not a promotion. Shout-out. Thank you so much for sharing that. So it's October 17th, and what else? In Philadelphia, right? A specific time?
Well, so, again, we're organizing... We're organizing beauticians, barbers, braiders, and cosmetologists. It's only on the net within the Black Action Network. So in regards to the activism that Brother Chris is initiating out in Cleveland, all of our neighborhood barbers, beauticians, and braiders are being encouraged to organize and to unify around the Million Women's March so we can know where you are and we can patronize and support your businesses.
Okay. That's cool. All right. So October this year, Million Women March, and people can what? They can log on to the webpage or what to find out more information?
Yes. So the primary page is millionwomenmarch20.com.
Okay. millionwomenmarch20.com.
And so you can find out the information how you can participate, donate, and also promote and endorse what's happening in this very historic movement.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Astro. Thank you so much for sharing it, and thank you so much for sharing your commentary and everybody that's called in. Tonight we're going to pick up on our African Spirit honorary segment, the Hoshi and Nino Dohani Amazons, when we come right back after this break. So stay tuned. You are tuned in to the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show.
Make Black Talk Radio your choice for digital black radio. New black media for the new millennium.
All right, we're back here at the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show, and we are honoring the Ahosis, or Nino, the homie Amazons tonight, for our African spirit honoree. And I think it's so important for us to always acknowledge the ancestors, especially those righteous warrior-styled ancestors, like the Dahomey Amazons or Minyo. This group was an all-female military regiment of the Fon people of the Kingdom of Dahomey in present-day Republic of Benin. They existed from the 17th century to the end of the 19th century, while European narratives refer to the women soldiers as Amazons because of their similarity to the semi-mythical Amazons of ancient Anatolia. They call themselves Ahosi, king's wives, or Minyo, our mothers, in the Fon language. They were extremely well trained, and they had this very, very aggressive attitude. They were ferocious fighters with a reputation for decapitating soldiers in the middle of battle, as well as those who were unfortunate to become their captives. So Dong Hong Bae was one of the great leaders of the Minyo. In 1851, she led an army of 6,000 women against the Igba fortress of Abokuta. Because the Minyo were armed with spears, bows, and swords, while the Igba had European canyons, only about 12,000 survived the extended battle. European encroachment into West Africa gained pace during the latter half of the 19th century. In 1890, King Hanzin used his Minyo fighters alongside the male soldiers to battle the French forces. Somebody always having to battle the French forces during the First Franco-Dahomean War. The French army lost, as they usually do, several battles to them because of the female warriors' skill in battle. So again, tonight we honor the Ahosi, or Minyo Dahomey Amazon.
Honor to our female warriors.
And it looks like that's what we're going to need to return to, some female warriors, if we wait on some of these men to get off the pot. My goodness, no, I'm not going to say that about the brothers, because I know brothers are organized. I know they organize, and we just need to see a little bit more of it, though. That's all I'm at. That's all. That's all I'm at.
Yep.
FeatherLite, you have some intuition. Yes. Talk to us about intuition, FeatherLite. Talk to me.
Intuition. The third eye. The sixth sense. Knowing. So what happened to cause us to lose touch with our inner knowing? How is your intuition? Is it strong? Is it weak? Do you have an intuition? Are you like some people who feel that there are only certain people who have this gift, this talent, this skill? Put simply, thousands of years ago, we began to think instead of feel. And that was kind of my point tonight. Our ability to tap into the collective consciousness still within us.
If Snyder's of Hanover pretzel pieces came as whole pretzel,
ego became our ruler. The intellect caused us to lose our connection to the collective consciousness, making us feel like separate individuals. I saw this quote, and I put it on my Facebook months and months ago. It said something about we have become such a conscious-minded people, but we have forgotten how to feel. We talk so much about how intelligent we are, but we have forgotten how to feel empathy for one another. And when you are in touch with a person or in touch with yourself, you are in touch with your intuition. Some adults have been able to gain at least part of this form of knowing, and empaths are included in this group. They, in turn, are giving birth to children who remember how the collective consciousness works, and they're using it. And the indigo offspring is their descendant. So what is intuition? It's an ability to understand and know something immediately based on your feelings rather than facts. Often there's no clear evidence one way or the other, and you just have to base your judgment on your intuition. It's like knowing without knowing. You just know. Before modern technology, we had to rely on signals from the environment and a more primal instinct to guide us. Just like birds can sense when a tsunami is about to happen, or squirrels know when it's time to gather food for the winter. Humans have an intuitive sense. We've simply lost touch with it, as well as our ability to trust it. Now, I went to a reading. Actually, it was an event, and they were offering a free reading and a free chakra balancing. And I trusted these people. I'd gone to their events before, and it was free, and you get a couple of free books. And so this lady, when she read me, she looked at my palm, and she said the normal things. That 1 out of 4 women have been molested, so that's no big deal. But she said, you have a very high degree of intuition. My eyebrows went up like, ooh. And she said, but you're not using it. So I wondered, how does she know that? Because it was true. I'm so in tune to energy. I'm so, quote unquote, sensitive to my environment, the energy that I had began to play it down, because I would notice things and people, or speak up on things, and people would say, oh, you're just too sensitive. So I began to play my intuition down, saying, oh, I'm just, paranoid. But our intuition is always there, whether we are aware of it or not. And just like animals in the forest, we have always had this sixth sense, and we need to find it again. Even when we're not at the fork in the road, wondering what to do and trying not to hear that inner voice, trying to hear that inner voice, our intuition is always there. It's always reading the situation, always trying to steer us the right way. But can we hear it? Are we paying attention? Are we living a life that keeps the pathway to our intuition unblocked? So there's so much going on in our lives right now, especially with the high degree of technology that we have. I had jury duty today, and it was about 26 people in the room. And out of those 26 people, there were only 3 people who actually had, like, paper, like a book reading. But everybody else was tuned into their mobile technology. I was one of the 3, of course. I had a book. But we're so caught up in technology that sometimes we don't allow our brains to rest and just have silence so that we can hear what it is we need to hear. If praying is talking to God or your higher self, then intuition is God or your higher self talking back to you. And it is up to you to clear your mind and listen. There's some things that we can do to get better in touch with our intuition. Now, since I had my reading done, and I thought about it over the past few years, I've started reading more and more about empaths and abilities. I'm become more appreciative of my gifts. I have started paying more attention to my intuition. And the other day I was seeing in the park next to a school that looks like one of those schools that at one time was mostly white and they didn't like blacks coming there. But I had to sit there to just kind of rest as I was walking. And this truck rolled by and somebody yelled something out. And I looked around to see if there was anybody else around. And I said, well, I guess they were yelling at me, but I wonder what did they say. And as he turned the corner, I could see a white arm hanging out of the window. And I thought, with all this that's happening to people these days, made me a little conscious of my environment. Within about 20 minutes, the truck rolled by again. I immediately gathered all of my belongings and picked up my bag and everything and started walking home, because I don't want to be one of those statistics of someone who's found hanging in the park with things done. And I began walking home, and I saw my daughter coming down the street, headed where? To get her nails done. And she picked me up and took me home. For all I know, those guys could have come back, threw something at me, hurled something at me. Anything could have happened, but I listened to my intuition. So number one, take time for solitude. Rarely will you hear your intuition when you've got a lot going on in your head. And speaking of intuition, there's this myth that men don't have and women do. We all have intuition. Men have it too, but they usually like to refer to it as a hunch. Actually, it's intuition, but because intuition is coupled with, it's related to feelings, and a lot of men they're not as in touch with their feelings as women are. But rarely will you hear someone who hasn't said, I don't know why I did that, a successful business person, who hasn't made a decision based on a hunch or feeling in their gut that made them do that. So that's their intuition. So men have it too, but as I said, they're not as in tune to it. They can. People who create are more in tune to their intuition. In fact, creative people are highly intuitive. And just as you can increase your creativity through practice, you can boost your intuition. In fact, practicing one may build up the other. Intuitive people are often introverted, according to studies. But whether you're an introvert or not, taking time for solitude can help you engage in a deeper thought and reconnect with yourself. Practice mindfulness, meditation, and other mindfulness practices, an excellent way to tap into your intuition. Mindfulness can help you filter out that mental chatter that constantly goes into our head sometimes. Stop and breathe. Pranayama techniques clear the brain, which we do every show. It helps you to be able to receive information and make better decisions. Increase intuition, compassion, creativity, and peace are all wonderful side effects of meditating. Intuitive people observe everything. The first thing to do is notice. Keep a little journal and notice when odd things happen, like the thing that happened with me sitting in the park. And when I took my glasses off and I said, I'm going to put my glasses in my pocket because I'm going to need them in a minute. I'm going to put my sunglasses on. And something inside of me said, don't put your glasses in your pocket because they're going to fall out. And the other me said, oh, no, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to remember they're there. I have not seen those glasses since I had that mind talk with myself because they fell out of my pocket. And guess what? They're out of stock. I can't order them anymore. They're cute glasses. They listen to their bodies. Intuitive people learn to tune into their bodies and heed their gut feelings. If you ever started feeling sick to your stomach when you knew something was wrong, but you couldn't put your finger on what, you understand that intuition can cause a physical sensation in your body. Our gut feelings are called gut feelings for a reason. It's like your second brain. Intuitive people connect deeply with others. When you see a spider crawling up someone's leg, you feel a creepy sensation yourself. When you watch your team win on TV, you get excited just like they're excited, like you're actually in the game. Or you see a couple embrace on TV, you feel those emotions like, oh, this is second nature for empaths. But some people can't feel these emotions, and these people are called psychopaths. When you do not have feelings for other people, when you cannot feel for other people, there's something wrong. tuning into your emotions and spending time both observing and listening to others face to face can help boost your powers of empathy and also your powers of intuition. Here's a quote from empaths. Empaths are like, I don't just listen to your words. I listen to your use of words, your tone, your body movements, your eyes, your subtle facial expressions, your silences, everything you don't say. And for me, if I can't see you, I can still feel your energy. Another thing that intuitive people do, they pay attention to their dreams. Pay attention to the dreams that you have and get in touch with your mind's unconscious thinking process. Both dreams and intuition spring from the unconscious. So you can begin to tap into this part of your mind by paying attention to your dreams. At night when you're dreaming, you're receiving information from your unconscious or intuitive part of your brain. So try tuning into your dreams so that you can get a lot of information about how to live your life. Intuitive people enjoy plenty of downtime. Few things stifle intuition as easily as constant busyness, multitasking, connectivity to digital devices, and stress and
That's
burnout.
why I said we have to take a technology break occasionally.
Yes.
All day long, you either on your phone, on your tablet, or in front of a television, a computer screen, or something. So taking a technology break for a few hours, or maybe even half of a day or a whole day. Try that. How about that?
Yes. Like today, I mean, I was sitting there for hours without my phone plugged to my ear or my tablet. I didn't even take my tablet. But it's good. It's good to just unplug for a bit. Let go of negative emotions. Strong emotions, particularly negative ones, can cloud our intuition. Many of us know that we feel out of sorts or not ourselves when we're upset. And it may be because we're disconnected from our intuition. When you're very depressed, you may find that your intuition weakens. And when you're angry, when in a heightened emotional state, your intuition can fail you completely. You won't get any kind of signal. So it's not that intuitive people don't get upset. We all get upset. But your intuition will fare much better if you're able to mindfully accept and let go of negative emotions. Let it, feel it, and then let it go. Not continually suppress them and dwelling on them. Then also you can actually ask your inner self for guidance. If you just, like you pray, send me guidance on this, you can actually ask your intuition to talk to you, to speak to you, to ask, to give you some kind of guidance, and then be quiet and listen. There's lastly, there is a pranayama breathing technique, and it's called the bee breath, like a bumblebee, B-E-E. So you can Google that. It's a little difficult to explain over the phone if you use both your hands. But that is a method, a technique that you can use to heighten your intuition. So those are some tips. Everyone has intuition. Everyone can fine-tune it. There are also some things that you can do to decalcify your third eye, which is where your knowing comes from. Those are easily available, and that could be another show. But use your intuition. Take advantage of it. Quiet your brain. Take some time out for rest and peace. Don't feel like you have to be busy all the time, doing something all the time. Your higher self is trying to talk to you. Your higher self has some messages for you. And I have a quote on intuition that I wanted to share. A lot of our hard times confusions and things come from us just not listening to our intuition. I can say many times that my mind said something, and I said, my heart said something, and I said, I think I'll do this. Sometimes we create our own heartbreaks through ignoring our intuition. Never discredit your gut instinct. You are not paranoid. Your body can pick up on bad vibrations. If something deep inside of you says something is not right about a person or a situation, trust it. Trust it. We all have the ability to intuit. Some of us just forgot how to use it. And that is my thought for intuition for tonight.
Paying attention to your intuition.
So
I can recall.
How was your intuition?
I can definitely recall a time when I was out of town and I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden I had this feeling. I was in New York City, and I had this feeling. And it's like I walked down the street and things just became really strange and weird. I just had this feeling come over me. And I had this feeling, this intuition, or that God sense that said, turn around and go the other way. And that's what I did. And I've experienced that on so many occasions. And I do follow my intuition just as on simple occasions sometimes when I'm driving and just trying to make a decision on which way I should go. Should I go this way or that way? And I just be quiet my mind, like Dick Gregory says, quiet your mind, quiet your spirit, and the answers will come. And that's why it is so important for us to meditate, because once you meditate, you're able to receive the answers to any of those questions that you've been brooding over and pondering over, concerns, problems, issues. Everything will become clear. You'll have clarity. And you'll have peace of mind, because now you can X that off your list of worries and concerns and now move on to the planning and plotting stage
and the action.
All right.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So we're going to do our breathing. I did want to give you a couple of tips for Love the Body. This is about coffee, oddly enough. When to have your first cup of coffee. Wait to have your first cup of coffee between 9:30 and 11:30. The reason? For most people, the body naturally produces cortisol, cortisol, a hormone that makes us feel alert between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. This does this naturally. So you really don't need caffeine that early to help wake you up. And drinking caffeine too early can lead to too much cortisol, and that can disturb your body's circadian rhythm. So that's interesting. I noticed that when I have breakfast at a certain time or before a certain time, it doesn't do anything for me. I have to wait. And I thought that was just me. I have to wait till a certain time.
You have to wait until what time?
Like 9:30.
I read that you shouldn't ingest any meat before 10 a.m. anyway, because your body's not ready. And I know that you don't consume a lot of meat, but for people that are meat eaters and it may feel the way that you just mentioned, your body's not ready for anything heavy. So before 10 a.m., our bodies are just pretty much ready to ingest like light fruit or juice anyway.
Right. It's been fasting. I'm sending all that stuff right down to like,
bacon and eggs and all of that stuff. Okay, let's get to the breathing so we can get ready to close out, FeatherLite. Oh, you said you had something else? Love
no, I'll do it later. coffee nap. Okay, we're going to do the 3-4-7 breathing technique. This is the one that relaxes your nervous system, and it actually takes the place of a lot of these drugs that the doctors give you to relax you. So you breathe in.
I look so forward to this breathing. Oh, my God. Let me get prepared. Okay. I'm ready to breathe. All right.
Relax your shoulders. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and drop them. Put a little smile on your face. Take a deep breath in using your belly. Inflate your belly as you breathe in. Exhale. Think of when you exhale, you are exhaling toxins. You are exhaling things that are not good for you, negative toxins. You're going to inhale 3, hold for 4, and exhale for 7. So your exhale is going to be powerful. So take your time and exhale slowly. Inhale 3, 1, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale. One more time. Inhale 3, hold for 4, 3, 4, exhale, long 7. Great. Wonderful. Enjoy the rest of your week, and remember to do your breathing exercises. Touch someone every day with love. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, FeatherLite. Thank you, Astra. Thank you, Scotty. And thank you, everyone that tuned in. And we will be back on next week. So peace, namaste. Stay safe, people. Stay safe.
Shout out to Cynthia all the way from Japan.
Yes.
Shout out to Cynthia.
All right. Peace and good night, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste.
Testing. 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 This is Scotty Reed of Black Talk Radio News. Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing.